family of a 12-year-old Rock Hill boy who was attacked by a neighbor's dog back in May and lost part of his scalp is now struggling with mounting medical bills. 300 friends and neighbors held a fundraiser over the weekend to help the family, raising more than $3,000. What a great thing to do. Nice. Every year, more than 800,000 Americans seek medical attention for dog bites. Half of them are children. Attorney Clair Campbell from Campbell Associates joins us to talk about the rights and responsibilities when it comes to dog bites. Hi, Claire. How are you?
Good morning. Hi.
It's great to see you. You brought your little dog, Maeve, here with us today, too.
She's 8 months old, and I brought her kind of as a segue into the difference between a dangerous dog, as defined by statute, and a potentially dangerous dog. Strangely enough, Maeve is a potentially dangerous dog, as hard as that is to believe.
Really?
We have...
That little thing, she wouldn't hurt a fly, would she?
Well, that's what we hope. And yet, all of us that have and love pets, one bite or a little aggressive behavior, and all of a sudden she's a dangerous dog. So if I have friends or children at the house and don't restrain her, then I would be responsible for their injury.
Really? So talk more then about the responsibilities that those of us who own dogs, what our responsibilities are. I mean, you have to... I mean, like you said, you hope that I'm going to come to your house and I'm going to bring my kids and she's not going to hurt anybody. But you do have some responsibility when you are the dog owner.
As a dog owner, whether you rent or own, you should have some insurance. If you don't have some insurance to take care of a potential problem with your animal, then you become personally liable. If you rent a piece of property and your landlord knows you keep fighting dogs in the back, such as a pit bull, something like that, those are strict liability dogs, meaning they don't get a one-bite rule or they don't show aggressive behavior and then you're responsible. Your own notice that if you have a dog like that, you're responsible. So if your landlord knows, your landlord may also be responsible.
Are there some good steps to take being a dog owner to try to make sure your dog is not involved in something like this?
Typically, just, obedient school is always a nice thing to do for your dog and for yourself, but it's not required. And the only thing that the city and the county requires is just a license. You have to submit that information and submit the type of dog to the city, and you get some information back, and that will also allow police to have some jurisdiction over your home in the event there's a complaint about your dog.
Okay, if a dog bites someone, who's responsible then?
Typically, the owner of the dog is going to be responsible if there was some warning. If there was no warning, then it may strictly be an accident that there is no liability for. For instance, if it's an unprovoked situation and the dog has never exhibited any negative behavior before to the person that they bite, and it's on your property, that again is a signifying thing, then there may be no responsibility. However, if it is something that is continuing, for instance, the neighbors and we do go and knock on doors and say, if you notice that dog being bad before, do you know anything about the behavior of that dog? Because the owner, of course, is easily going to say, no, we didn't know that dog was vicious or going to be dangerous. And the neighbors are like, yeah, he attacked my cat, yeah, he attacked my uncle, yeah, chases me every time I pull into the driveway. Well, then you've got a case probably of liability against that owner. So hopefully you have homeowners insurance that will protect the injured party. Obviously, you have situations, we have a lot of clients who are riding down the street on their bicycle or walking or jogging, and they have a dog, leave the property of the homeowner, follow them down the road, chase them on a walk. Again, that homeowner is going to be responsible if there's a problem because the dog has left the property.
Does it make a difference if the homeowner is present when the bite occurs or not? For example, if the homeowner or if the dog owner has been negligent, if the dog was roaming the neighborhood, or if I invite people over to my home for a cookout and I'm there and I don't think my dog is dangerous. I mean, do those things make a difference?
A lot of factual patterns that can lead to liability. There are a lot of factual patterns that can not. And so in a situation like that, if you're not home, your children are there, your children are going to be playing with the dog. And,
she's eating your microphone.
Having a friend over.
I might sue you. Those microphones are expensive, Claire. I hope you have good representation.
Yes, we will be protected. But it is interesting because the worry is having kids over and having something happen. As a parent, obviously, if you let your young child, and by that I mean 2- or 3-year-old, approach a dog that's at your friend's house or your parent's house and they're feeding, and the young child's pulling the tail of the dog, all of a sudden the dog was unprovoked, but now has become provoked by the pulling of the tail, then that leads to a little bit of the law that calls negligent supervision. And so ultimately, as the parent of that child now responsible for the injury that occurred due to the dog that someone else owned,
Got it.
it gets tangled. And
Okay.
so ultimately there can be some negligence on the parent of that young child who was put in a situation and was attacked by a non-dangerous dog who now has become potentially dangerous just because of the provocation.
Good
All
info.
right, Claire Campbell, thank you so much. Thanks for your time. Campbell Associates has offices in Charlotte, Gastonia, Hickory, and Rock Hill. You can contact them at 704-333-0885. Again, 704-333-0885. Or you can visit injuryhelp.org, injuryhelp.org. Claire Campbell, thank you. And thank you, Maeve.
Thank you.
Nicely done.